Welcome back, Mother Duggos. Today we have an '08 Saturn Vue XR 3.6 liter V6 front wheel drive, not all wheel drive. Today's fun is going to be, valve cover gaskets and the oil fill tube and air filter and cabin air filter and spark plugs. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So, reason for it, been smelling oil when it's hot. You have the oil fill tube leaking, getting on the alternator and the belt, and it goes back there to the exhaust. But then you have the valve cover gasket leaking there, and the rear one, and I already took the engine cover off, because you have to do that to get the intake manifold off. Yes, intake manifold has to come off to do the valve cover gaskets. It's so wonderful. And since I'm here, might as well do the air filter, and I have to take the coil packs out to do the valve cover gaskets. So it's like, hey, let's do the spark plugs while we're at it. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Let's do it. All right, first things first, have to disconnect that air hose from the air box to the intake. 8mm, 5/16 standard. There's also a plug on the side. Get that unplugged. Do some wiggle jiggle. Disconnect the line for the PCV system. And la-di-da. That's out of the way. Now, over here, the PCV line runs way down here. It's going to be great. You have to get these bolts out of here for the wiring harness for the engine. Yes, I know there's some milkshake on there. It happens. It's cooler. There's no milkshake in my yard for the engine, so I'm not overly concerned with it because condensation does that. And these are probably 10mm. If I had to guess and I was a guessing man, because what wouldn't it be? Yes. 10mm. This is a little more loose. There's also the hose for the coolant reservoir, or surge tank, or whatever you want to call it. When you do this, make sure the car is not hot, because it'll be pressurized and all that good stuff. All right, that is up and out of the way. You have, it's probably a map sensor up here on the top. That's old plastic, so the chance of it breaking is there, and nobody likes that. All right, that's there. The other end of the coolant hose that goes over to the tank goes right here. I'm going to take that off to make my life easier. And hope it isn't completely deteriorated. If the hose wants to be stuck, that happens quite often. Get your pair of pliers. Give it some twists. Freeze it up. And should free it up. Might cut the zip tie, might not. I don't know yet. That's far back enough, but just in case it's not, back it off more. Yay, coolant. Whatever. Not much. Ew. Too much. Too much. Alright, maybe I'm... I'll find something to plug that off with. Alright. Got that plugged off. There were 2 zip ties holding that line to the harness. Clipped those, and I pulled that line. Oh, let's see what kind of funniness there is left. Oh, please don't be like that. Oh, good. That plastic just slides out so you can depress for the throttle body. If the throttle body wants to play nice with me, it probably doesn't. Because again, it's just old, brittle plastic. And there we go. Hopefully it didn't break, but if it did, it's mine. It's not somebody else's. Technically, it's my wife's. It's fine. Right. There's a vacuum hose right here on the side of the intake manifold. It goes to the brake booster that is very tight. That clamp is, at least. Pull that down. Pull that off. Put it off to the side. There's another line right here. I don't know what feeds to it. If it's coolant, air, who knows. You push in on it some, push down on the little tab, then it pulls right out. When you go to install it, you push it, it clips into place. Thankfully, that was nice to me. All right. Here is a bolt for more harness fun. The other end of the PCV system goes into this valve cover here. That'll just, that was held on by zip ties. Sweet. That just slid off, and it probably will just slide off for you. And the coil packs should be 10. I'm going to mark them just whatever order. I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the back. I don't remember if that's the actual cylinder numbering on these, but that's what I'm going to do. All right. 10 millimeter. Millimeter is a 10. You do want to play this game. Okay, that's fine. You go with the shallow pin. It's beginner pins. What's wrong with you? Where is my shallow pin? There it is. Yes, I am using power tools today because I'm feeling lazy and I brought them home from work and I wanted to make my life a little bit easier. You go to you. You go to you. That should hopefully be dingly dangly enough. Hope. There's another connector right here for the lower intake. I don't know what it connects to. I'm not a car guy. I work on cars, yes. I work on semis. I like semis. Yes, they're bigger, but you have a lot more access a lot of times. It's probably for the... Oh, that's going to be for the injector. Based on where it goes. Unhappy puppies in the background. I hate cars. They probably hate me too, so it's okay. Well, it just came all the way out. That's whatever. I'm gonna unplug the rail. Ta-da! There's that. Oh my gosh, there. All right, let me mark my front 3 coils and get those out. All right. I have no clue where my paint marker is. I know I have like 3 at work, whatever. I got the connectors undone. I have the bolts out. See how much fun they're going to be to pull out. Oh, not bad, not bad. Doesn't look terrible, actually. Surprising. Doesn't look bad in the hole either. Let's get these 3 popped out and see how much more fun this holds. Now, I am not taking out these spark plugs yet because I don't need to. And I don't want to risk anything getting down in there, in the hole. That'd be bad, especially because my good sucking device is at work. Yeah, never mind. You vacuum. Vacuum device. He exclaimed with great relish. Alright, how the fuck can I get you off? Isn't that always the question? Okay, you're there. You're just hanging and wanging out. You, on the other hand, these are push. You are. Okay. Fantastic. So, this other vacuum line that's on top of the manifold goes right back there to that valve cover. It has the same little tab to remove it, like the other one. So, push it in, pull it up. Bob's your uncle. I don't know why that's staying put. I'm just going to leave it put. Stay put. Something put. Putnik. Intake manifold bolts. Okay. I'm going to run the compressor, blow everything off. I don't figure you want to listen to it, so I shall return. Yeah, now that I've returned from all that joy, did some blowing outing. These bolts are probably, I don't know, they're probably 13s. There's, I don't know how many. 1, 2, 3, at least 4 to who knows how many. Let me get those pulled out. 13 or 12. Oh, 13. So nice. You come to me. And there are 2 different lengths, so should probably put those back in the right place. We're putting this all back together. We, me, you. I don't know who. Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Gotta be more than you. Right? Yeah, ow. Don't do that to me. It's not nice. So is a smart man. Hey, look. There's holes. Good job, Ding Dong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Up top, around where the throttle body sits. not nice to me. That's okay. I can be not nice to you too. A man makes extensions. Now let's see how that works. What am I caught on? Kitchen. Ah. There. Yaha! Maybe. Caught up on the gasket. It's okay, get the new one. Yay! Upper intake manifold is removed. It's a very long bolt that goes in there. I'm leaving them with the intake. So, now that we have that out, we have much better access to spark plugs. Power steering reservoir is going to have to be moved out of the way, but now we can access more things. Look inside the intake ports, and I don't know how well you can see. I can see they're not terrible, surprisingly. But we find the mounting bolts for the power steering reservoir and get those coils out of the way, and I shall returneth. Down in here, there's a 13, 13, and a 10. Those look like the only three to get the reservoir moved. I'm going to get it all the way out and see how it goes. Yes, those were the 3 bolts, all you needed just to move it off to the side. You're going to have tension because of the hose. And now it's the fun of all of these 10mm bolts all around both valve covers. Stay tuned. All right, back here is one of the bolts. My socket doesn't fit. I got the good fun stuff at work, but I can get to it with a ratchet wrench. There's also one under here. I'll have to, I don't know, do some weird skibbity riz, whatever, with the that cover and the harness. But yeah, let me get back to it. I've been fighting for a good while and didn't realize that there was another bolt right there under the hose. Yeah. So, good lesson. If something doesn't feel right and it doesn't want to move, see why it doesn't want to move. Because there's probably a reason. That was my reason. Yay, me. Right. Once you get everything loose and all that wiggled and jiggled off, there is RTV up in there. The front cover seal is, and it's a pain. Well, you got to pop that off. But then you have the wiring harness, specialists to deal with. It's a good idea to check your timing chain, look at your cam lobes while you're in here with it off. I'll do more looking when I have a free hand. But yeah. Now that those 2 cams in comparison to one out of a semi, little bit of a difference, size difference. I'll put up a picture of it, compare it to the engine, or the entire engine bay of this thing. So yeah, there's one out. Time to get that one out. Oh, happy, happy, joy, joy. You get the other valve cover out and have many choice words for the engineers or whoever was involved in designing this, and yeah, there's a lot of things I won't say on here because of them. Again, check your timing chain right in there above the light. That little, what looks like a crack, that's a seam. That's where you want your RTV. It's on both sides. You'll see where the old RTV is. Make sure you clean it off good. Let me see if I can focus on here. Maybe not. This cam, this lobe on the cam, you can't hear it, but there's a spot on there that I can feel with my fingernail. So I've only had this car for 15,000 miles, something like that. So it looks absolutely terrible in here. There's other spots on the lobes that aren't looking that great. So, yay. I'll ride it till it dies because, yeah. I mean, at least I know it's reliable. You know, got almost 200,000 miles and it's 17 years old. So, hey, what do you expect? But, yep. I'm going to clean up the mating surfaces for both and put the gaskets in the old valve covers. That is the super gunky inside of the rear one. That looks terrible. I'll clean them up. And then the front one looks slightly better, but also has the PCV system, but it's still... No, thank you. I'd lick a lot of things. I'm not licking that one. So, I shall return. The valve cover's all cleaned up. This was the worst one. It's a lot better. Brought its work to use the hot water parts washer. Hot parts washer. Something like that. Whatever you want to call it. I still have the gasket in here. I did it on the other side, but I just wanted to show you this. So you get like a pick, screwdriver, something small along where the lines are. You kind of dig in, get under the gasket. Mine were nice and brittle. I'm sure this side will be too. Get in there and just dig and lift to get that out. Oh. Yeah. This one's also lovely brittle. I don't know how bad it was before the parts washer, but it's definitely no good now. So once I get it all out, I'll get in there, clean and blow out the grooves. It has 3 spark plug tube seals for each one. They're like this. Notice they're flat in here. There's a flat side and a not so flat side. Easiest way I've found to get them out is, let's see, and give me a ding dong. All right, easiest way I've found to get them out is with a screwdriver and a hammer. So don't hit this lip. This one right here is for the seal. And let me put you down so I can hit them out real quick. Or you know what, that works. We have a screwdriver, we have hammer on the little seal. Bop. Bum. And if it doesn't work, let's see what happens. So it just caught rubber. So here's a better view of the difference. This is still part of the seal. This is part of the valve cover. Now from looking at the top, you hit the bottom lip with the screwdriver and hammer, and then it'll pop out. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't.
I'm a potato.
My wife's a potato. So, all three of them
I'm a potato.
are out. I'm going to clean this up really quick. Then I'll show you how to install the new ones. Alright, I have them cleaned up. There's a couple ways to do it. There's a legit tool for this. I have a seal installer, a whole kit, or you can use a big socket. I just get it lined up, even on it. And then when it's in, you make sure it's evenly seated. It's at least level or flat with that. And you do that for all three. Now, there's two different gaskets that come with this kit. And easiest way to tell which one is which is this side matches up with here. And there's little nibs that fit down inside. So once you have that all looped around, set up and all that, which you have those guide marks, it's very easy. The other one does not have that, but it has the two humps for the cams, and the gasket has the corresponding humps. So it's just, now all you do is you line up okay, round to round, do it all the way around. It's pretty easy, fairly self-explanatory. You stick it in the hole, and that's how she goes. Sticking it in the hole. Alright. Once it's seated, just give everything a quick little pass. Make sure it's down where it needs to be. Good to go. And then these. All of the screws, I pulled them all out beforehand. I just grabbed it by here, not by the head. If some of these come out and the bottom piece stays in, it's not fun to get them in. You find a little hole, something like that, to where the screw can fit through, but this will stay. Hit it with a hammer a time or two, the bolt will pop back down, and you're good. This kit also came with all new rubber pieces, grommets, gasket seals, what have you. All you do for that is you get a little screwdriver, something. Don't stab yourself or stab yourself. If you're feeling froggy, you get it, you spread it out, you move it over, or you rip it, and that's fine too because it's trash. The new one just goes on, slides over, Bob's your uncle. And once you get that back, all those done, if you feel so inclined to do, don't forget to put your silicone on the mating surface where the timing cover meets the head. and then wiggle and jiggle the valve cover back on. And I know it's going to be just a lovely, amazing time. So I will spare you from the words that probably shouldn't be said from being heard. All right, got both of those wiggled and jiggled on, and it was so much fun. So much fun. When you're bolting them down, there's 13 in each. You just start from the middle. I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That way, everything is seated. That's the proper torque sequence, or pretty close to it. That's typically how you torque things down. Anyway, since I'm doing the spark plugs, I'm going to go ahead and blow out all the spark plug tubes and the intake ports. Make sure there's no water in there, coolant, dirt, debris, anything like that. While you're blowing things out, like how I have some coolant or something in that bolt hole, I'm going to blow out all the bolt holes because liquid doesn't compress, and that's how you crack blocks and heads and other pieces of metal. So let me get that all blown out. Nobody wants to hear the compressor. I'll be right back. So, problem. I didn't check my parts before I did this. I only got 5 spark plugs. There was only 3 in this box and 2 extra. So, let that be a lesson. Make sure you have everything before you go and do something like this, because I didn't do that. So for now, I'm not going to do the plugs because I got them from Rock Auto, and I'm not waiting any longer to get this back together, and I'll just hate myself later on. So now it's time to put the coils back on, and then the intake, and then I'll do the upper intake manifold back on. I have new gaskets for that. I actually checked those to make sure they were good. The air filter, let me find my big flathead, and we'll get that going. All right, got the lid off. Here's the old filter. It's not terrible, but I already bought the new one. So, line it up. You want the mesh side up top. That's the only way it's going to easily fit, because yes, it's kind of proper orientation, but it's not going to fit. Don't force it. Slides in, nice and easy. I just used a Phillips bit. It's PH3, because I forgot I had those here. And it's a lot easier than using a screwdriver by hand. Oh, it's easier and faster. And I'm tired of dealing with this thing. I'm over it. I also have the intake gaskets on. There's a little dowel there, and that'll guide where it sits. Again, just make sure there's no water in any of those holes, because there shouldn't be, because they should go clean through. Either way, make sure they're nice and clean and pretty. I'm going to put this back on and put the intake back on. Another thing, Felpro is normally really good with their gaskets. Sometimes oopsies happen. You'll notice on this one, there is the guide pinhole. There's this plastic piece. Well, there's a part that's supposed to go through the other side. Guide hole, upside down plastic piece. It was like that on both. The intake manifold was not sitting right. It was wobbly, and I'm like, let's look at things. So yeah, that's what it. If something doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. You should check it out. Or, compare old gaskets to new. A lot better than I did. Okie doke. Got everything back together. Intake on. Air filter box lid back on. Piping, all the vacuum lines, all the connectors. Don't forget, like I almost did, the power steering reservoir. The bolts we took off for that. So, now it's time to start it up and see if it leaks. I don't see anything new. No weirdness. Nothing like that. Sounds like it normally does, so yay! That's how you do that. I'm not doing the cabin air filter today. Hold on. Okay. As I was saying, I'm not doing the cabin air filter today. I'm overworking on cars. I prefer the big stuff. That's why I like trucks. Trucks are nice. Mostly. Some jobs suck, but hey. So that is the valve cover gasket replacement on an 08 Saturn Vue with the 3.6 front wheel drive. And yeah, engineers are just the best. But remember, it ain't tight till the ugga meets the dugga. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.